Ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of Technical Drawing Made Easy with your girl Sabs. And we're still on the topic orthographic projection. Remember, I was telling you that I was going to do a more complicated drawing. This is a drawing that I did for my SBA, so please stay tuned, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's take it to AutoCAD. So before we get into the video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can customize and design your own drawing like I did mine. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw a simple enclosed figure so I can use it to demonstrate to you. So my favorite thing to do in AutoCAD is change the color of my drawing. So what you can do is just select the entire object and go at the top where you see by layer with the color circle beside it and select whatever color you would like. Or if you don't want that, you can select the lines one by one and go to the color feature and change the color one by one into different colors as you like. As you can see, I have blue, green, and purple. While I'm trying to make up my mind on which color to choose, please like, comment, share, and definitely don't forget to subscribe. Now that I am finished with the color, if you want to hatch your work, you're going to type in the word hatch, H-A-T-C-H. And after typing in the word, you're going to go at the top where you see these patterns and you can select whatever pattern you would like. And sometimes the pattern doesn't show on your drawing, maybe because the scale is not right for the drawing that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and choose another pattern that will fit on my drawing. But if you want to choose a specific pattern, you can actually change the scale of the pattern. And basically that is it. And you can actually change the color of the pattern also. So that is how you hatch, and that is how you change the color of your drawings. Now that we are finished with that, let's get to the reason why we are here, which is using this drawing to produce an orthographic projection from the front view, the side view, and the top view. Before I move on, you will also hear the word elevation, front elevation, side elevation, plan elevation. It's the same thing, but as Kabile would say, simplicity. Let's move on. So this is the 3D isometric drawing that we'll be working with, and we'll be doing this in the third angle projection. So before we even begin our drawing, let's draw our third angle projection symbol, starting out with a fairly small circle of radius 12. I think this is a voiceover, so sometimes I don't remember what I did. Now, using the same center of the small circle, we're going to draw a larger circle over it at radius 24, so we're just doubling it. So next we're just gonna have two lines, one in the front shorter than the one at the back, and we're going to use our slant lines to connect them. Another little advice: when you're doing your slant lines and so you would like to turn off your right angle symbol, but when you want your straight clean lines, you turn on your right angle symbol. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to center line them. So I'm going to type in center line, and I'm going to select the two lines, and then I'm going to get my center line. But as for the circle, I'm going to be using center mark. Center mark is for circles and curves and all those stuff, while center line is for objects like shapes and so on. So I'm going to be using center mark for my circle. So I'm just going to select the circle, and there is the center mark on the circle. And that is our third angle symbol. Remember, I was telling you that when you have your work, please insert your third angle projection symbol or your first angle projection symbol. Don't just add them in. Make sure that you know which one you are doing, so you don't put the incorrect symbol. Okay, good. Now let's move on. So we're going to start with the plan elevation, which is everything that you'll be seeing from a bird's eye view or from the top of a building. So I started off by drawing my rectangle, which is the first part of the top view. So that is 70 by 80, and I already drew that. So now I'm going to move on to the circle area. Now the circle area is sandwiched by two rectangle, which means it's going to have to be a flat surface. Now the radius of the circle or the semicircle is 7, which means the diameter would have to be 14. So I'm going to draw a line going vertically of 14 and going across 70 and going up again at 14, and that would be the representation of the semicircular area that you see. Now we're going to move on to the other rectangle, which is identical to the first one, 70 by 8. So as you see, I'm showing you, you're not going to see the empty area. We're going to see the one at the top, 70 by 8. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw that one. So we're still on the plan view, and you're still imagining looking from the top of a building down on this object. The next part you would see is the large shaded area at the top. And remember that we are drawing this on a 2D plane, so the slant lines and the depth that you see on the 3D isometric drawing, that's not what we're going to have on the 2D plane. We need to draw these objects flat. So now we're going to go ahead and draw the large shaded area that I was just talking about. And so we're going to go down to 70. As you can see that on the isometric object, the slant line is 70. So after going down to 70, we are going to go across to 15, because you can also see that there is a space. There is a little space with a depth in the, not exactly the middle, but you get the point. So we're going to go across 15, going up to 45. And though on the isometric drawing the 45 measurement is on one side, it is very identical to the other side. So after going up 45, we're going to go across to 30. And if you get confused with these measurements, just remind yourself that all you're doing is copying everything that you see on the isometric drawing, but putting it on a 2D plane. So it is the same measurement, just not in 3D anymore. So now that we have that, you can also see that we have a ramp. I think that's what it's called. But before we go to that ramp part, you can see that there is a small depth. Just imagine a car elevator going up to a third floor or a second floor, just moving from one floor going up to another. Imagine pushing that up and it just fits in the shape on the third floor or whatever floor it is going to. That's exactly what we're going to do. So what we're just going to do, we're going to close that area, that empty space. We're going to close it off. We're going to use a line and we're going to seal it off, which will represent that depth shape that you see. So that's it, just select line and close it. So looking from the bird's eye view, we're going to see that ramp area at the bottom, and though it is a little bit off from the top part, we're not going to have it off when we are doing the plan, because if you're looking from the top of a building, you won't see any separation. So the ramp is 60 by 30, and as you can see, it is also in line with the top part. So we're just going to select line and draw it connecting to the rectangle that we just drew. And that is basically the 2D representation of the ramp. Now we are like 90% finished with the plan view. But if you're looking from a bird's eye view, you're going to see the circular area over the left side. So now we're going to draw that. We're not going to see inside the circle. We're going to see the top, which is the part that I am showing you right now, the semicircle and the circle on the inside. So we're going to draw a line from the side to be 35, and we're going to go down to 70, because this is how we're going to get the circle, and we're going to go inside to 35. Now that we have this little part, we need to get the circle. Now the radius of the circle, the large circle, which is the one that will be joined first, is 35. So going to the center of the line, we're going to go 35. We're going to type a radius of 35. And after doing so, we are also going to use the same center of the line to draw the other circle, which is radius 25, which is the circle that I'm showing you right now. We're going to do that circle with radius 25. Now looking at the 3D, you can see that the large circle is not a full circle, it is a semicircle. So what we will need to do, we're going to have to trim around the large circle, but the last circle that we drew, we're going to leave that circle as is. So while we trim the large circle, as you can see, that's what I'm doing, we're going to delete the line that we used to draw the circle. So we're going to click on that line and we're going to delete it, and just like that we have our semicircle and our circle. And basically that is it for the plan elevation, or the plan view, or the top view, or the top elevation. Now we're going to go ahead and label it. Go to annotate, and that big A at the top, going to select it, and we're going to click. And this scale is a little bit too small, so we're going to put the scale to 4. So now we're going to type the plan view / elevation. I believe that you guys need to get used to the word elevation, because if you hear that word, I don't need you to be like, wait, what is that? You know, so get used to the word view and get used to the word elevation. And as I advised you guys in the last video, to always label your join, label your elevation, and label your third angle projection symbol or your first angle projection symbol. So now that we have it, and since we're using the third angle projection, please be reminded that the plan view is always in the first quadrant. So I'm going to be moving the plan view to a clean space, so it's not very clumpy, so our drawing can look very neat and spacious. So as I was saying, the plan is always in the first quadrant. If you don't know what the quadrants are, you can go ahead and watch the first video, which is part 1. But just for a quick review, I'm going to show you guys what the quadrants are. I'm just going to draw a vertical line going down as my y-axis, and a line going across as my x-axis, just intersecting, and that's what we call our quadrants. So as you can see, it cuts in 4 parts. So first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. In the third angle projection, the second quadrant is always empty. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on to our front view / front elevation. So let's talk about the front view. Obviously, for the front view, you're going to be looking at the front of the object, which is mainly the unshaded parts of the objects. I didn't want to confuse you guys, so I left some of the objects unshaded. So the unshaded area of the object, that is what you're going to have for the front view. Also, looking from the front, you're going to see a small edge of the circle area, of the semicircle area around the side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to seal off the little part that you're going to be seeing. So I'm going to use the line command, and I'm going to put a line at where you will be seeing. So that's what I'm doing right here. So basically you're just going to be seeing that small part. So that small part is going to be a part of the front elevation. Okay. Also, looking at the front, you won't be seeing the full ramp. You'll be seeing a part of that. So that is why I'm going to just connect the lines. I'm going to seal that off. So that little area at the top of the line, that's what you're going to be seeing. So let's get into it. If you don't understand what I am doing for the front view, just imagine this as a back wall, and imagine you have this as a shape and you want your front view. You see your shape and you want to have your front view. Imagine using your hand and pushing this up against the back wall. Just like that. See? Now everything's going to go into the wall, and then you're going to have your front view. Basically, that is what you're doing. So everything that is going into the wall, just imagine everything going into the wall, and then everything that is left outside of the wall, that would be your front view, if you understand. But as we go back to AutoCAD, I will explain more. So we have the first part of our front view, which is the rectangle. Now we're going to draw the other small area, which is the part that I'm showing you right now, the empty small area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the line, and I'm going to show you that that small part is not exactly starting from the beginning of the line. So I'm going to extend the line to our rectangle, and then you're going to see what I'm trying to say to you. So that is what. So what we need to do, that I have already done it, is get a mark of 15 meters on my rectangle, which I have already done. So now that I have that 15 meters, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my next part of my front view. So I'm going to go down to, I think it's 15, and going across to 30. Going across to 30, and then I'm going to go up back to 15, just closing off the figure. Okay, so we have that. Remember I was telling you before about pushing everything into the back wall. So when we're doing that now, we're going to notice that we have a little front area, the front area that is also unshaded. We're going to have to draw that area, because if we should push this object into the back wall, this is all the figure that we would see. So we'd see that front area. So we're going to go ahead and draw a vertical line from our rectangle going down 55 meters. So going down 55, and we're going to go across to 70 and going back up to 55, sealing off the entire figure. Okay, so since we have that, next what we need is the ramp, the part of the ramp that I already sealed off. So remember that line that I drew before? That is the part of the ramp that we're going to draw, and it's going to be above the line. So nothing will be outside of it, it's going to be above. and as you can see also that it is in line with the other shape. So that's what we're going to ensure that these two shapes are in line, as you can see what I'm doing here. So vertically 25, horizontally 30, and that is it. We have about 95% of our front view. So next we need our little area that I already sealed off before, and I was telling you that we're going to see that little edge. So that is, we're going to go 35. We're going to select line command going down at the bottom, and we're going to select 35 horizontally, going horizontally 35 and going vertically 15. And don't get confused about these measurements, they are all on the isometric join. Remember that I was telling you, if you see one measurement on the other side, if the opposite side of that measurement is identical, it is the same measurement. And there we have it. That is our front view. So just like we did our plant view, we're going to go ahead and we're going to label our front view, or our front elevation. So I'm going to move it so it is in line with the plan elevation, and as I am moving it, just imagine your quadrants and you can see that it is in the third quadrant. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just drawing a straight line from the edge of the plan elevation and just ensuring that the front elevation is perfectly in line with the plan elevation. So when I draw this straight line, I'm just going to move the front elevation so that it will sit on the line. And when you do this, it's just a very nice way of ensuring that your work is neat and presentable. And I'm telling you, this can actually up your mark like by 1, and 1 mark can do a lot. So we're at our last view, our side view. So the side view is pretty simple, just like the example that I gave before. Imagine pushing everything into a wall. So let's just draw a little layout of what we're seeing at the side. Don't pay in the circular part any attention. Just let's deal with the flat area. So we have a line going horizontal, a small line of 8 meters going down to 50. Remember that we just joined the layout, and now we're going to go across to 70. That's at the bottom, as you can see, and we're going to go down to 15. It's right there at the edge. The measurements are on the isometric join. Going across again to 30, and we're going to go up to 55. It's the 55 is on the other side, but remember that I was talking to you about identical lines. They have the same measurements. So going back up to 10, going across to 8. Now the circular part. Now we need the circular part. So what I'm going to do to get the circular part, I don't want to confuse you guys, so I'm going to change the color of the line. Right? So the radius of the little semicircle is 7 radius. So what we're going to do, we're going to change line and we're going to draw a line of 14 meters. Remember, half a diameter is the radius. So 7 times 2 is 14. So we're going to draw a horizontal line. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select circle, and I'm going to use the center of that line, the middle of that line, and I'm going to draw a circle with the radius 7. After doing that, I'm going to trim the unnecessary parts. So the other half of the circle at the top, I'm going to trim that part, and I'm going to delete the line that I drew. See, just like that. So we have most of the side view. So what I'm going to do now, I want you to imagine pushing in the circular part into the wall, just like I was saying before. So I'm going to show you what you're going to get. That line at the bottom, I'm going to extend it. I'm going to straighten it right out, and I'm going to close it with a horizontal line, just like that. You can see that that is a flat surface. So that is how the side view is going to look. That is how we want to finish our side view. So what I'm going to do, just like I did on the isometric drawing, I'm going to close that bottom area. I'm going to close that area, and that is it. We are not finished. We have a small triangle. If you're looking from the side, you're going to see that small triangle at the end with that is on the ramp. We're going to have that small triangle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a horizontal line from the bottom right of the drawing. That line is going to be 40 meters, and then I'm going to go up to 25, and after going up 25, I'm going to seal that. I'm going to close that object, and it's going to form a rectangle. Remember that if you split a rectangle in two using a slant line or a diagonal line, it's going to form a triangle. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to go from one end to the other end and draw a slant line, and afterwards I'm going to delete the two top lines, and there we have a beautiful triangle. And all of that is our side view. I'm going to change the color, and I'm very picky about these colors. I don't know why. So I'm going to change the colors, and I'm going to label it, and I'm going to put it where it is supposed to be, which is in the 4th quadrant beside the front elevation. I want them to be perfectly in line, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a horizontal line from the front elevation and ensure that my side elevation sits on that line. So I'm going to left click, put my mouse over the entire object and select it, and I'm going to select move, and I'm going to move it onto the line. My next little advice to you, if you're doing something and you cannot see it properly, zoom and ensure that you are working neatly and patiently. Please and thank you. Now we're going to go ahead and label our side view like we did the others. So I'm going to fix up everything and come back to you. There we go, beautiful. We have our front elevation, side elevation, plan elevation in third angle projection. If there's anything that you didn't understand, please comment below. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. People, stay blessed and give less. I love you.